This is the story of Final Fantasy XIV, Stormblood, patch 4.2. Now, where we left off at the end of patch 4.1, the Sultana dismissed Raubahn of all his positions so he could live in and restore Ala Mhigo. Let's get started. At Rago's Reach, Lise is happy to announce that Raubahn is now the commander of Ala Mhigo's army. She also says that the Kaliana have chosen Shanti's daughter, the soulless resurrected girl, as their leader, which is odd, and relations with them are not improving. Alphinaud and Alize approach and say Hancock needs to see them urgently, though they don't know why.
My friends, thank you for coming at such short notice.
He tells them that a large number of soldiers arrived at the Garlean embassy recently, and there are rumors that Yotsuyu has been sighted, accompanied by a man resembling Gosetsu. Yugiri says this must be investigated.
I am bound by duty to ascertain the truth of the matter. Will you join me in this quest?
Gosetsu is a dear friend, and we cannot abandon him to the mercy of the Empire. Our course is clear.
Hancock then refers them to an informant where they can get more information. In a back alley, they meet the informant, Gyoudo, the slimy little fish who deceived them in the past. He tells them that Gosetsu pawned his samurai blade in town, which surprises everyone. Alice follows Gyoudo as he leaves to gather more gossip from the Garleans while the others head to market to look into the blade. They find the pawnbroker, and Yugiri confirms it is Gosetsu's blade. Alphinaud says the Scions will buy it, and Yugiri is thankful. She then asks where they went, and the pawnbroker mentions dango, a tasty treat. Yugiri speaks with the man at the tea house, and he says the girl resembling Yotsuyu was really devouring the dango, and the samurai spoke of crossing the Ruby Sea. They rendezvous at the docks with Raubahn and Alice. Alice says she's learned that a Garlean contingent is headed for the Ruby Sea, and Alphinaud brings everyone up to speed. They all head to the Ruby Sea, but Tutaru looks a bit upset and says she needs to speak with Alphinaud when they return.
What's going on out there?
Travelers, are you? You may wish to postpone your plans. The Garleans have launched an attack on the Confederacy.
Yugiri and Alphinaud conclude that Yotsuyu must be there, and Alice says either way the Confederates need their help. Alphinaud says he has learned to swim.
Yeah!
Lady Yotsuyu, we're here to rescue you. Please, come with us.
Stay back, Tsuyu.
Are you all right?
Is he all right?
Gosetsu!
The heroes defeat several waves of Imperial troops. They're happy to reunite with Gosetsu, and the Confederates are thankful for being saved. Yotsuyu is scared and clueless.
Do not be afraid, Tsuyu. These people are my friends.
Friends.
Forgive me, but at the risk of souring the mood, I believe you owe us an explanation. You may start by telling us what happened at Doma Castle.
Gosetsu explained that as the roof collapsed above them, so too did the floor beneath them, and they drifted along the river clinging to a wooden door. Surviving on a deserted island, he found that Yotsuyu had lost all her memories and now speaks like a child.
A trick, surely.
That was my first thought, and I contemplated cutting her down and being done with it. Contemplated it long and hard. Yet the Kami saw fit to deliver us from certain death. 'Twas their will that we survive, both of us, together. And together we shall go before our master. He shall be the one to judge.
She's your prisoner, old man. Do with her as you will. Call her Tsuyu, or whatever else tickles your fancy.
'Twas a name given out of necessity whilst on the road. Nothing more.
Gosetsu then gives his word to do what needs to be done should her memories return. They depart from Tensui and return to the docks. Once Alise learns of Yatsuyu's state, she says she won't take her eyes off her for a moment. Yatsuyu is scared and asks Gosetsu if he's sure these people are friends. Regardless, everyone agrees it would be bad to stick around, so they decide to leave. They agree to meet Hien at the old resistance hideout, and Raubahn mentions that he has a business proposal to discuss later.
My lord Hien, I am returned.
Gosetsu, full glad am I to see you alive and well.
We have played this scene before, have we not? Though this time our roles are reversed.
Wholly at a loss for words. Welcome back, old friend.
He then turns his eyes to Yatsuyu, and Gosetsu explains everything.
As acting viceroy, Yotsuyu would have been privy to Imperial secrets. The Garleans will not soon give up the chase.
Are you a friend, too?
She claims to have lost her memory, though I know not if she speaks true. I brought her here that you might decide her fate.
Regardless, the people have not forgotten. Her face yet haunts their dreams. She cannot roam free. We will hold her here for a time.
Yatsuyu is scared to go, but Gosetsu reassures her.
If this is an act, it is a remarkable performance.
Hien tells the others that the Enclave is ready to receive any Doman refugees living in Eorzea, and Alphino says that those at Revenant's Toll will be pleased. Gosetsu and Yugiri return, and say the captain they were supposed to leave Yatsuyu with was missing, so they left her under someone else's care. Everyone finds this odd, and they agree to search for the missing captain. Asking around the hideout, multiple soldiers report having seen him, all saying he didn't look well. The hero finds him outside.
Ah! By the Kami! Your Lord Hien! Leave me, I beg of you. Say nothing of this. I was never here.
Gosetsu and Yugiri approach and ask him to explain himself. He says he has a history with Yatsuyu from his disreputable business in the past.
Her father was a regular client of mine. One day, quite without preamble, he offered to sell her to me. She may be no maiden, he said, but she has some use left in her. It was no profession for her. But I knew she would be popular, and so it proved. Men flocked to drown themselves in that cold, bottomless gaze. 'Tis said that the atrocities Yotsuyu committed were driven by vengeance. If so, I bear part of the blame for creating the monster she became.
Gosetsu and Yugiri agree to recommend he be assigned to a new post.
I am in your debt.
Later, back at the hideout, Hien says that an Imperial airship was sighted over Doman soil, headed for Castrum Fluminus. The hero, Yugiri, and Hien head that way. The ship gives a smoke signal, meaning that they come in peace, so Hien decides that they will meet with them.
Well, that we should be received by the Lord of Doma himself.
He introduces himself as a Garlean ambassador named Asahi, and Yugiri points out that he is Yatsuyu's stepbrother.
It is true. The former acting viceroy is my sister. Yet, bonds of kinship aside, we have precious little in common. As will soon become plain, I come not to sow strife, but to end it. I am of the Populares, a collective which represents the interests of the common man. Long have we labored to bring about reform to the Empire's provincial policy.
He says Emperor Varus agrees with the Populares that reform is needed, and he sent Asahi to negotiate peace with Doma.
Well then, we have much to discuss.
They head to Hien's Hall at the Enclave to begin their discussion.
On behalf of my delegation, I offer you my humblest thanks. Never did I imagine that I would meet the gallant and noble Lord of Doma himself. nor be welcomed into his magnificent hall.
You'll forgive me if we forgo the pleasantries. You say you are come to negotiate peace.
Asahi begins where they have common ground, saying that the founding principle of Garlemald is to eliminate all icons, and that Garlemald and Doma could combat this threat together.
On the condition that Doma renounces summoning and pledges to police the Korjin's practice of it, his radiance would extend the hand of friendship.
Heian responds that the Kojin only summon their icon under extreme duress, and it can only stop when they cease their military advancements in the Ruby Sea.
A tragic state of affairs. If we are to put an end to summoning once and for all, it shall not be through might, but harmony. Yet we continue to repeat our mistakes, oblivious to the lessons of history. My comrades and I would change all that. We, Populares, have campaigned long and hard for a shift in imperial policy. And at last, the Emperor has seen fit to lend us an ear.
He mentions the Optimates, pure-blooded Garleans who oppose the aims of the Populares.
That would be most welcome. But if I may speak plain, if the Empire itself is not of one mind, how can we be certain that any peace we negotiate will be honored?
To build trust, Asahi offers a prisoner exchange, offering many domans in exchange for Yotsuyu. Heian is surprised that they know he has Yotsuyu, but they continue to speak plain and honest with each other. He says he'll consider the proposal and agrees to let Asahi stay in the area in the meantime. After the meeting, the heroes discuss their skepticism for Asahi and wonder if this is all a ploy to retrieve Yotsuyu, even if her memory loss makes her useless. Nevertheless, Heian thinks it's best to continue, if only to return captured domans to their families. Later that evening, Asahi approaches the hero and praises him for slaying icons. He asks if they can tour Yangsha together and says it was his homeland. They agree to it and head out together. Asahi reminisces over beautiful landscapes and laments over Doma Castle ruins. As they approach the village of Namai, there is a disturbance.
Get back! I'm warning you!
Someone's in trouble. Are you all right?
Hi.
It seems they won't go quietly.
And neither will we. Away with you! That seems to be the last of them. You have nothing to fear, child. You are safe now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank goodness we arrived when we did.
Indeed. But what could have prompted the Red Kojin to stray so far from the Ruby Sea?
Asahi says they're desperate and unemployed with Yotsuyu gone. Yugiri doubts his intentions and responds.
You and yours have fought fiercely to change the Empire from without. But if we are to end the cycle of conflict, the Empire must change from within. Am I wrong?
Asahi wishes to return to the Enclave, which Alize finds strange since they never made it to Namai village. Back at the Enclave, the heroes update Lord Heian while Yugiri keeps watch over Asahi outside. Alphino also finds the Red Kojin attack puzzling. Heian is okay with Asahi's proposal to take a stand against icons. He just isn't sure about the second part, policing the Red Kojin, but he says Alphino has given him an idea. They can work with their allies the Blue Kojin to make sure the Red Kojin aren't amassing crystals or summoning relics. Heian then asks the heroes to join him for a serious matter that has been heavy on his mind.
I had her brought here in secret while the three of you kept our guest company. The world has not been kind to you, it is true. But that does not excuse your sins. You should be at the bottom of the river.
Was it really so terrible? Tell me, please! What did I do?
Kosetsu voices his concern.
But with no memory of who she is or what she has done, what sin remains to be cleansed?
You ask that I show mercy.
I ask why the heavens saw fit to deny me my rest. Why Yotsuyu was spared not only death, but the bitter memories of her life.
Heian pauses and reconsiders.
Her life is not mine to take. It is yours to safeguard.
Hien agrees to keep her safe in Doma unless her memories return, in which case they'll hand her back to Garlemald. Afterwards in the hallway, Hien suspects something is physically wrong with Gosetsu. He moves on and invites Asahi back in. After warm greetings, Hien gives his decision.
We are willing to cooperate with you in combating the Icon threat, and also in the exchange of prisoners. Assuming you accept our conditions, of course.
Hien then says Yotsuyu is not the same as she once was.
To clarify, she is in our care not as a prisoner, but as a vulnerable citizen of Doma.
Are you saying you refuse to release her?
Not at all. If her memory returns before the appointed hour.
And if not, what exactly? You will accommodate her here in Doma?
Well, I sincerely doubt she will be of any great strategic value to the Empire. She spends her days daydreaming of Dango.
Asahi politely asks if he can speak with her privately, and Hien agrees. Moments later, Asahi returns after a visit and is grateful for the opportunity, but sad that she doesn't even remember him. He agrees that she can be left here, and says he needs to return to his superiors and prepare for the prisoner exchange. Hien thanks him for rescuing villagers outside Namai, and Asahi says he was happy to do it and the Red Kojin's desperation is the Empire's fault anyway.
I wish you a safe journey.
This has been a most enjoyable visit. I look forward to our next meeting. Maxima, would you take the others and see that all is ready for our departure?
He then asks to thank the Warrior of Light in private.
Mark me, savior of the savages. There will be a reckoning.
In this vision of Asahi's past, he is cornered and about to be slain by Doman countrymen, but Xeno steps in to save him. Xenos asks him where the remaining Domans are, and Asahi says they're at the Enclave under Lord Kyan's watch. Xenos leaves, and Asahi is awestruck by him.
That was Lord Xenos. Everything you are, your power, even your face, it vexes me. Go on. Lash out like the beast you are at an emissary, and jeopardize the newfound peace between Doma and the Empire. My lord was destined to lead us unto a glorious new age. Your light is nothing to his radiance.
As soon as he's gone, the hero tells the others about his vision and what Asahi said to him.
I had my doubts about him, but I would never have guessed he was a disciple of Xenos.
Even still, Hien insists they play along, for the chance at getting their captured people back.
But now we have a chance to bring them home. If it means bargaining with a monster, so be it.
Alphino and Alize are baffled as to why Asahi would drop his pretense at the last moment, and they promise to stick around in Kugane until the situation is resolved. Later at the Ruby Bazaar in Kugane, Alphino apologizes to Tataru for purchasing the blade without consulting her. She suggests maybe Sarabon's new business proposal will cover it. Back in Garlemald, Asahi is pleased and says everything is going according to Xenos' plan. Meanwhile at the Enclave, Yotsuyu stares into an old mirror and recalls her conversation with Asahi.
Can you truly remember nothing? Nothing at all?
Were we friends?
He gives her the mirror and prays that she remembers who she is.
It's so pretty. Who are you? Who are you?
Meanwhile, at the Imperial capital...
How are you feeling, my lord?
Fine, now leave me.
And patch 4.2 ends there. If you want to see what happens next, check out the video for patch 4.3. See you next time.